So you guys suggested this. This wasn't me. And this is Xeno talking about how good is Paladin and Endwalker. So let's see.
Ooh. Woo.
Ooh is good.
Paladin is pretty fucking good. Paladin's really good.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Here's one very pleasant change that I was not expecting. When you zone in, you have full gauge. That is really, really awesome. Paladin pulling is no longer a downside at all whatsoever. Keeping the boss is fine. You will run out of CDs sooner than the other tanks because you don't have as many. However, tanks can help each other, you know, and you can always tank swap. But starting with full gauge is fucking poggers. Let's look at what Paladin got. It got upgraded Spirits Within. It's also no longer tied to your damage. It got Holy Sheltron, which is ridiculously awesome. Wreck has changed.
It's not tied. It's not damage that he's talking about. It's not tied to your HP. Spirits Within used to be based around your hit points, however many hit points you had left. So if I remember correctly, it was like the more hit points you had, the more damage dealt. That's not the case anymore. That's a good thing. It's a very good thing.
It's now way better. It's not tied to your mana, and it lasts for 30 seconds now. Wreck and 70 content is amazing now, yeah. Basically, Wreck now is
Wreck
insta-cast.
is really
it makes
good.
all your stuff insta-cast. It's tied to the ability, not the trait, so this is like super good, man. Atonement stacks now last for 30 seconds, which is really good. And then you got Confidior Combo. Confidior Combo is very fun to do. It's also a ranged attack. Super fucking good. Every single Paladin change was good. You can even pop your own Veil now, so it's like that fucking good. Even Veil got better because you heal yourself with Holy Spirit. Paladin got so much quality of life, so many good changes, man. It's fucking crazy, and it's so fun. It's super fun now because you don't have to worry about your atonement stacks falling off anymore. You can pop Wreck. Like, basically, Paladin now, the amount of control and manipulation you can do to your GCDs is crazy. It's really, really, really fucking cool, man. And that's awesome. Just the fact that you can pop Wreck like fucking 15 seconds early is awesome, and you keep your stacks for like 30 seconds now. So that's just so fucking good, man. Holy Sheltron is obviously super fucking good too. The heal is nice, but it also blocks a shit ton of damage. Intervention got buffed, obviously. Veil got a little better just based on the HP that you heal through Holy Spirit. So you could actually use your Veil during your Wreck window and then pop it, you know, proc it. Passage is still really good, you know, the same or whatever, but still really good. Clemency used to be like 1200 potency, I think. This is still really good too. Also, this isn't affected by Wreck anymore, which is a little bit of a bummer. There would be certain times, like during like clear parties or something, where you could pop Wreck and then get like this massive fucking clemency. It would be really cool. So yeah, every change that Paladin got was super good. Just for those of you that didn't see it. The biggest thing, probably this shit here, is the Confidior combo.
Confidior combo is so good.
It basically just replaces the Goring Blade that you would do after. So like this dot here, sustaining damage over time, it's basically Goring Blade. That's all it is. And they can't stack. So when you apply your Goring Blade, it'll like override it and vice versa. The Confidior combo is like really flashy. It's also ranged, so super good. But
the stack override, the dot overriding itself is actually something that I didn't know. Someone actually pointed out, because like I was so confused because I saw the rotation on balance and I was like, I don't understand this rotation. The rotation is weird because like the rotation now goes, you know, you do the stuff, you get into your Royal Authority, which then enables you to do your atonement. But after Royal Authority, you're supposed to pop Wreck. And I was like, why? I don't understand. This is weird as hell. And then eventually when someone typed in my comments, and because I uploaded our EX clears, then someone typed in the comments, Rurikhan, you keep overriding your, you keep overriding your dot from the Confederate combo with your Goring Blade. You shouldn't do that because the other one's more powerful. And I was like, that's why. That's why you do it, because then you can just keep spamming atonement, and that's it. And I was like, oh. And you can keep a dot up all the time. Now I understand it. It's just getting used to it, though, because, like, my muscle memory still goes the second I'm... Basically, the second I do the Confederate combo, my muscle memory goes, okay, time to do Goring Blade. And it's not. It's not time to do Goring Blade. After the Confederate combo, there's already a dot in the monster, and you don't want them, like, you don't want to cancel it out with Goring Blade. It's
At
weird.
the baseline, it's basically just a Goring Blade combo. So it's just a really, really fancy Goring Blade combo. Yeah, there are 8 GCDs range. It is AoE. Yeah, you can peel off the boss for longer. If you want to keep the Paladin rotation lined up with certain buffs, instead of dropping a Holy Spirit, you drop an Atonement, because Holy Spirit's higher damage now. The Paladin rotation is already really good. If you think Paladin rotation is boring, then you probably suck ass at Paladin. Paladin
Exactly.
rotation, if you're trying
Yes.
to min-max it, it's going to be different for each
Oh,
fight.
yeah.
If you think Paladin rotation is boring, then you probably suck shit at Paladin. You're probably just ignorant. You don't actually know how to play it. Like, let's say you know that there's going to be forced downtime. You know, you can do shit like this.
You can
so
prepare.
You can pop your rec early,
yeah.
and if you know there's going to be forced downtime, right?
It's
so
really
let's say
good
there's
for
gonna
that.
Be forced downtime.
I'm not on that level
GCDs.
yet, but I can
Okay, well, you
recognize
do this, and yeah, sure, you lose some stuff under fight or flight, but it's a big gain because you're not actually losing any GCDs. So you lose potency, but you don't actually drop any GCDs, and that is very, 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 very fucking cool. Like the fact that you can do that, like no other tanks can do that.
I've done this in that last boss in the raid, you know, several times. I was actually able to do this shit, which is really, really cool. It's very satisfying when you're just like, well, I have to move away now, but it's cool because I have Requi up and I can just keep Requi going.
It's really awesome because people seem to think that if you don't do a GCD under a buff that it's complete loss, but I can promise you getting downtime is the worst loss besides dying. Like, so let's take a look at 2 tanks. Let's take a look at Warrior and Paladin. Let's say you're forced away from the boss for 3 GCDs. There's no way to greed that. Well, a Paladin can just proc wreck early, miss those 3 GCDs under the buff of fight or flight, and cast Holy Spirits instead, and then go back to the boss, finish their physical, and then continue their Holy Spirit and into Confiteor. So yes, they lose potency. However, they don't lose as much compared to the other tank because the other tank just straight couldn't even attack. Well, I guess they were chucking tomahawks. They were in Tomahawk Town. I guess the tank was getting a nice 100 potency, so I guess they were doing that. But, you know, so basically just the fact that you can do that on Paladin is really awesome. That's some cool stuff.
You got your little 100 potency attack, got your little tomahawks going. Are you having a good time? Oh, was that you can't fell cleave from afar? Oh, you can't fell cleave from afar. Oh, feels bad, man. Hey, it is what it is.
That you can do that you couldn't do before because Rec didn't last 30 seconds and Atonement didn't last 30 seconds. It's going to make Paladin on Prog really, really strong. Like overall kit, it's already like super good. But now that you can manipulate your GCDs in that way even more, that's going to be really valuable. It's going to be super valuable if there's downtime. But there are some things that are bad on Paladin. Well, not bad, but just kind of like, why didn't they change this? So a couple things that I do think that need to be changed still is this. Whenever I say you never use this, people always say, no, you used it in E6 so that the melee could keep up time. Just think about that for a second. Just think about it for a second.
You really don't use cover all that much.
Do you think that that's really the intended use for this ability? Do you think when the devs designed this ability, they were like, yeah, let's make it to where the Paladin can cover the fucking monk in E6? No, dude, they didn't, okay? This is extremely niche and very rarely used. Extremely
I don't think I've ever used
limited usages, okay?
Because
and
I don't
here's
really do
another
savages.
thing too. It still has a fucking oath gauge on it. Like, let me ask you guys this question.
Yeah,
if they
that's
took the oath gauge off, do you think that this ability would see much more use?
Oh,
Because I
yes.
don't. It's an emergency save. I don't think so.
No, dude,
I think you'd rather just
I'll tell you right now, if they took the gauge off of it, I would actually use it more often. But it's like right now, it's a choice between like, can I cover somebody or do I do Sheltron? You know, that's the thing. I'm probably going to do Sheltron if I'm main tanking anyway. But I do use an is it called intervention? Whatever it is, the thing where you take like 10% or 20% of damage of somebody else. That one I use. That one I use a lot. Like whenever I'm not main tanking, I just have like a macro that either does Sheltron or it does that to the other main tank.
just fucking use intervention. I think that this would just be a dead ability on your hotbar, even without the Oath Gauge. Like, people don't understand what made cover super good. What made cover super good was the fact that it had a built-in rampart. And once they took that away, cover really wasn't good anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I think people have saved runs with this? Absolutely. I think it has happened. I'm not saying it's never happened. I'm just saying the amount of time that it has happened. I think that because it's so low, I think they need to increase this move's, like, I guess, usability. You could expand the use of cover if you put a healing over time, because in that way you could cover them before the damage or after the damage and they'd still get the benefit. I think that would be really cool. Whenever I think of cooldowns, I think of them as how wide they are. We wide boys, okay? We want to be a wide cooldown, okay? Now let me explain what the difference is between like a skinny cooldown and a wide cooldown in my brain. A skinny cooldown is like this fucking miserable pile of shit right here. This is a skinny cooldown. This has one use, that's it. You use it when you know it's gonna pop, that's it. Now let me tell you what a wide cooldown is. This is a wide cooldown. Whew. We wide. Now let me explain to you why this is wide. You use this as a tank cooldown. You use this to heal yourself. You use this for shake it off. See that? That's wide. With all that being said, I feel like the cover, if they put a hot on it, you could actually use this on a tank after they took damage to save a healer GCD. Or let's say a DPS took a stack. You cover them so that they don't die to raid damage. You're not only protecting them, but you're also healing them so that the healer doesn't have to heal. So basically, if they put a heal on cover, and also you'd also remove the gauge cost too. I just don't understand why this is a 2-minute cooldown and 50 gauge. Like, holy shit, man. Fuck, dude, it's in the grave. It's like they took cover, put it in the grave, pissed on the grave, poured gasoline on the grave, lit the grave on fire, and then dropped a nuclear bomb just to make sure that it was really dead. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's on a 2-minute cooldown and it costs 50 gauge. What the fuck is wrong with you? It's not even that good. Like, the amount of restrictions on this cooldown is just crazy to me. It's nuts. Yeah, so that was one thing that I was wanting to change. Veil, I do still wish that it would auto proc, but the fact that you can just heal yourself with Holy Spirit, it kind of makes that not a factor anymore, so it's pretty good. The other complaint I have is Hollow Ground. I have not been the biggest fan of this ability. There are times when this ability is super, super good, like in T, but not very often. The cooldown on this ability is just so long, man. The fact that it makes you invulnerable to 10 seconds, it's not that good. I know it seems like it would be that good, but in actual use, Holden Gang shits all over this, man. It really does. The only time that this is better is when you
the timer on Hollowed Ground does make it a little bit more prohibitive as to when you can cheese mechanics versus like other tanks that actually have lower cooldowns on their shit, which I don't know too much about invulns, because mostly I play the Paladin, so it's like I don't know too much about what it's like to use the other invulns, but like I can recognize that Holm Gang is like really fucking good. Super Ballad is like about that.
Get the same amount of usages. Like when you get the same amount of hollowed usages and they're both at convenient times. That doesn't happen very often. So
here's like I see what you're saying, Hollowed Knight, where you're saying it's the strongest one though. Yes, you're right. And guess what? The Passage of Arms is also the strongest one. But the problem with that is that Paladin has the two strongest ones, but they're both on such huge cooldowns that you end up using them like, I don't know, depending on the fight. I don't know the actual fights, the times for Savage and whatnot. But like, depending on the fight, you end up using them not as often as you possibly could. Not to mention that Passage of Arms obviously has that huge downside of you having to be still and not being able to actually deal damage when you use it. So yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, these are two of the really good ones, but at the same time, they come with a beefy disadvantage on top of them. Cowabunga Ball. Living Dead is just bad. Living Dead is like, after you do Living Dead, it's like if the healers don't heal you all the way, you die, right? That's the way that works? Super Ball and more like Super Ball die. You just die with Living Dead unless you get healed to full after you pop it, right? Okay, yeah. Not to mention that I think that there's something about when you actually get healed to full, then you lose some of the effects of the ability too. Yeah. Living Dead's not good.
And I did go to a media tour. And when I went to the media tour, Yoshi told me that he thought Hallowed Ground was overpowered. I literally said, nah, it's not that good, or something like that. Because I remember I was like, oh, shit. I was like, oh, shit, you know, because it just came out. Yeah, but he said it was overpowered. And yeah, I don't agree with him. This is not overpowered. The times that you use it, obviously, yeah, it's going to be good. It fucking makes you invulnerable. Yeah, of course it's going to be good. Yeah, but it's also on a fucking 7-minute cooldown. Bolight's on 6 minutes and does virtually the same thing. Like, Bolight is Hallowed Ground, but better. The order of invulns, in my opinion, is you have Holmgang, Bolight, Hallowed Ground, and then light years and light years away in another galaxy that's dead. At the center of the galaxy, there's a dying star and everything's cold and there's nothing alive. That's Living Dead. Yo, I really like this job, man. I really do. I do think its damage needs to be buffed a little bit. TLDR on Paladin. I think Paladin saw the most impressive changes. I think it saw the most quality of life. And I think it had very little and arguably no downsides. I think Paladin is super, super good, man. I think that if you liked Paladin and Shadowbringers, you are probably blown away by Paladin and Endwalker.
Yep.
Now, those of you that are not blown away, that are worried about its damage, first of all, you have little penises. If you judge a tank by its damage, your dick is tiny. And you know what? If you're judging a tank by its damage, it doesn't matter if you're playing the highest damage tank. You're still going to be shit. Yes.
If you judge a tank by its damage, you have a tiny dick. There you go. That's all you guys need to know right there, okay? I told you I'm a Paladin main. I told you since the beginning I'm a Paladin fucking main. People are like, yeah, but no, the warrior deals more damage. There you go. All of you that started telling me that warrior deals more damage, as per Xenos, you all have tiny dicks. There you go. Tiny, tiny, small dicks. That's what you fucking get, all right? And on top of it, like he said, if you play the tank just because it deals the most damage, then you fucking suck. There you go. There you fucking go. Paladin main till I die, yo. It is what it is. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Like, basically, if your mentality is, I can only play the tank that does the highest damage, then you're trash at the game. Because anybody that I know that is good at this game will not let the damage of a tank dictate if that's what they're going to play. The only thing that is going to dictate that shit is like prog, but that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation. The people that I respect, they don't have that mentality because that's a stupid mentality. Yes, Paladin right now needs to see a little bit of a damage boost. A little bit. I think the people that are upset about Paladin's damage right now is, first off, it was way too high in Shadowbringers. If you guys think that Paladin should deal as much damage as a Dark Knight, you're crazy. Dark Knight should deal the most damage. Paladin should not. It has the most utility and it can attack from range for 8 fucking GCDs out of a minute. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You kidding me? But when I say Paladin should be the lowest damage, I don't mean that its damage should be dog shit. I mean in relation to the other tanks. And by the lowest damage, I don't think it's dog shit. According to the data that Ketnet showed me the other day, it's like, I don't know, in the entire duration of like one encounter, I think it did like 400,000 less damage than like a gun. Was it a gunbreaker? I think now when the gunbreaker was on top or whatever. But it's like, real quick with Passage, the buff exists on players for 4 seconds, so if you time it with raid wides, you don't lose a GCD, you hit it and continue. But yeah, Hallowed Ground's timer is so huge. Yeah, the thing about that is that, for instance, for the ones that we were doing for the extremes, the problem is that it's a multi-hit thing, so I have to kind of just like stay there. Mean by a significant margin. I mean, like, 1 to 2%. I think that the highest discrepancy should be about 3%. I think the highest tank should be 3% above the lowest tank, like 3 or 4% max. I guess another TLDR on the TLDR. Paladin is absolutely amazing. It received the most quality of life. If you like Paladin and Shadowbringers, you're going to love Paladin and Endwalker. I've been really enjoying playing it, and I think that it's going to be amazing in prog. There you go. You've heard it there from the man himself. Paladin. He didn't say it's the best tank, but we all know that Paladin is the best tank. It's the best. It's the best one. It is what it is. It is what it is. And by the way, guys, make sure to
get in here and like the video. It's a pretty good video.